Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today is the day 13 for our Fortigate firewall series. So in this video, we are going to see how we can configure a destination NAT in Fortigate firewall. Okay, so in this video, I am going to cover what is destination NAT, why it is required, what is static destination NAT and port forwarding. Even we are going to do the practical for static destination NAT and the port forwarding. So I'll request you to please watch this video till the end so that you can understand what is destination NAT and how we are going to configure it, how we are going to do a troubleshooting when we get this kind of scenarios. Okay, and this will be helpful when you have to configure, or your customer or your client is asking to configure as destination NAT or port forwarding, because this is very frequent kind of a request that you guys will be getting in your organization. So you should know this. Okay, this is a basic kind of requirement, because if you understand NAT, how exactly the destination NAT works, then only you will be able to configure the destination NAT or port forwarding. Okay, and also I'll request you to please subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that you never miss a video from me. So without any further delay, let's get started. So friends, first of all, we'll understand what is destination NAT, why it is required, and then we'll understand what is static NAT and what is port forwarding. Okay, so first of all, we'll understand what is destination NAT. So destination meaning over here is that destination IP should be NATed, right? So in what scenario and why it is required, we'll try and understand with the help of this diagram and this diagram. Okay, so for an example, let's say you are sitting in your home. Okay, and this is your PC, and let's say you have opened fortigate.com. okay, for an example. Now the traffic went, your source will be the public IP because you are connected to internet, so your source will be a public IP address, destination will be the Fortigate IP address, right? So Fortigate IP. Now the traffic reaches to the Fortigate firewall. Okay, now as you are going to hide your server from basically from outside world, and you are assigning the IP address for this server is, let's say 10.1.1.1 for an example. Okay, so basically what you are doing, you are giving a private IP address, right? But if somebody wants to reach on internet, you have to give what? Public IP address, right? You have to give public IP address. So let's say that this reaches to this public IP address and you done a NAT. So what you are doing, you are doing the NAT for your destination. That is the reason it is called as destination NAT. If you try to understand this scenario, the source is public IP address, the destination is also a public IP address, but here the source remains the same because we are not changing anything on the source side, right? We are changing on the destination IP address, right? So basically what we are doing, we are changing this destination IP from here to here. Why it is required? Because let's say you are sitting on internet. Okay, sitting on internet meaning that you are having connection to internet basically, and you are accessing some web server or any other server on the internet, and basically that IP address of the actual IP address of the web server is private. Okay, and you are accessing a public IP address. Why it is so? Because you want to hide your IP address. Maybe somebody wants to attack that public IP address. Maybe your firewall might be compromised, or it will fight against that particular threat or something like that. Okay, but your web server will be preserved, or it will not be impacted, right? So we will be changing the public IP address to the private IP address. If you see this scenario, you will be able to understand. So we are not changing the source, we are changing the destination, right? So this is how basically the destination NAT works. And if I talk about port forwarding is nothing but it's a very simple one. Let's say somebody, or let's say the Google server, for an example, this is a Google server. So how we are accessing Google server? On port number 443, which is nothing but HTTPS. Okay, so let me rub this off and I will type 443. Okay, HTTPS, right? It is on port number 443. But I am running this web server on, let's say, 5000 or maybe 6000 port number. So what I'm doing is I am translating this port number to different port number, right, to hide our port vulnerability as well. So let's say we have some vulnerability in HTTPS. So somebody is attacking on port number 443. So I'll be changing that port number to some 6000. So that will not work exactly. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm changing the port number as well. So that is called as port forwarding for destination. Okay, so for an example, if the PC is having a source IP address of, let's say, 200.1.1.1 and destination is, let's say, google.com 142.2.1.1, okay, reaches to your, let's say, firewall. Okay, so what we are doing, what we are changing on port number, let's say 443, because the source port number will be random port number. Okay, the destination port number will be 443. Now it reaches to Fortigate firewall. Okay, now here the source will remain the same, 200.1.1.1. okay, now the destination will get changed to, let's say, 10.1.1.1. so what is changing? The destination is changing, right? The source port number will remain the same, right? Now destination port number will change from 443 to, let's say, 6000 port number. So basically what we are changing, the destination IP is changing, the destination port is changing. So this is called as port forwarding. We are translating the port number as well, right? So now friends, we'll go to the practical lab and we'll see how we are going to configure the destination and port forwarding for this. Okay, so friends, for today's practical we'll be taking this topology. So I've already mentioned this will be port 2 will be for inside, port 1 will be for management, which will be connected to our local PC and will be accessing our Fortigate firewall from this port, and this will be outside, and this will be our DMZ, where the server is connected. Okay, from outside this is our external PC from where we'll be testing the connection to our DMZ, okay, server, and we'll be doing NAT over here. Okay, so you just understand this whole is a public area where this PC is also connected, and we will be taking one of the IP address. For an example, I might take 150 for the NAT. Okay, so whenever somebody is wanted to connect, they will be connecting to this IP address and it will get redirected to the server. Okay, we'll be doing the static NAT, the static DNAT, as well as the port forwarding. Okay, so we'll be performing both the practicals in this lab. Okay, so let's move on to the dashboard of Fortigate. So friends, this is our dashboard for Fortigate firewall. Okay, and we have already done the initial configuration, which is configuring the IP addresses, configuring the default route and all those things. Okay, so now we'll move on to create an virtual IP. This is to basically create the DNAT. Okay, so we'll be configuring a virtual IP and we will be giving a name. So we'll give a name from external to DMZ. Okay, so we'll just say, so outside to DMZ, right? Now which interface that we need to select, we have to select that particular interface. So what we are doing is we will be selecting the interface. Now it is for port 3 and we'll be selecting port 3. Okay, now what is the external IP address that you want to do? Okay, so external IP would be, I just said, from this range. So we'll take 150 from this range. So 172.29.129.150. fine. Okay, so this will be 1150 and the IP address, the mapped IP address. So whenever somebody wants to access this IP address, it will get NATed to which IP. So it should be a private IP address. To check that private IP address, we'll try to open and we'll try to see. So IP interface brief. Okay, so it should be 10.1.1.1, right? So we'll just put that 10.1.1.1. Okay, and we are done. So friends, when you click on this, basically you'll be seeing that if somebody wants to access to 172.29.129.50, it will get translated to 10.1.2.1. okay. Now for this we have to create one policy, that is IPv policy, because we have to allow that particular connection, right? So we will be creating that. Okay, so we'll just name it as outside to DMZ NAT, right? So DMZ-NAT. Okay, so what would be my incoming interface? It will be port number 3. Okay, what would be my outgoing port number? I guess it should be port number 4, right? So port number 4. Now what would be my source? Because it is coming from external, so we are not sure about the source, so we'll just click OK, like all. And for the destination, I need to select that virtual IP address. Okay, so this is the only that thing that you need to select, and after the services you have to select all, that's all, accept, and we have to basically remove this NAT. Why we have to? Because this NAT is for source, not for destination. And for seeing all the logs, we just enable the all sessions and will click OK. So we will be able to, this way we will be able to create the policy. Okay, so friends, now we'll be going to the test machine. Okay, and we will be basically accessing this server. Okay, so we'll just configure the IP address and we'll see whether we have got the proper IP address or not. So we'll go to the properties, not properties, port, and we have got the range IP address. Okay, now we are going to access that particular IP address. Okay, so what we are going to do is we will be accessing. Okay, now the thing is, if you want to access this IP address, okay, so where you want to reach 150, right? So basically we'll be accessing the public IP address. So HTTP, okay, this is the service that we have enabled, not HTTPS. Okay, 172. Okay, if it is not visible for you guys, maybe I'll enlarge just 172.29.129.150. okay, now we are getting an access. Okay, so we'll provide that particular access, Cisco, and we have provided. Now we can see that we have already able to access the web server. Okay, so which IP we are accessing? We are accessing one public IP address, but it is getting translated. Now if you see that the IP address of the server, it is 10.1.2.1. okay, so we are accessing on 150, but it is getting translated to this. So friends, now we can see whether the policy is used or not. So we can see that if you refresh it, we will see that the bytes counts are getting increased. It means that the connection is working, right? And also friends, when we go to the router, and if we go to control plane host open ports, okay, so we'll try to initiate again the connection. Maybe I'll try that to a different browser, 150, let's say. Okay, let's say whether we have any connection. Okay, so I guess I just need to log it out. Let's see whether we have got option to log this out. Maybe I'll close the browser and I'll try to open it again. Okay, or maybe I'll try with some other ports as well. Okay, not this one, 1750, and we'll see whether we are getting any connection. Okay, still we are not getting it. I'll just try to open the putty 172.29.129.150.80, and we'll try to open the telnet. Okay, so now if we see here, we are able to see that somebody is connected from 172.29.129.189. So if we try to see the IP address of this is 129. So it is able to connect the HTTP. Why it was not showing here, even I'm not much sure on that part, because it's supposed to show all the connection, but it is showing only the telnet connection, what I have observed till now. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll try to change the port number. Okay, it is listening on port number 80. I'll try to change it to, let's say, 5006 on port number, and the users will be connecting. So we'll be doing port forwarding. So user will be connecting on port number 80, but it will get translated to 6000 port number. Okay, so I'll try to change the port number here, and we'll see whether it's working or not, the port forwarding is working or not. Okay, so friends, basically because of some reason these ports are not getting changed in Cisco router. So what we have planned is, like, the user will be accessing on some port number. For an example, the user will be accessing on, let's say, let me change the color. So the user will be accessing on port number 6000, and it will get redirected to port number 80. Okay, so basically we will be changing at the client side the port number. Okay, so we'll instruct the client to access on port number 6000, and it'll get redirected to 80. Okay, let's see whether it's happening or not. Okay, so very simple, the rules will be always be same. So what we have to do is, we will be opening this and we'll go to the port forwarding. Okay, instead of this, so external will be accessing, so 6000 they will be accessing, and it will get translated to port number 80, right? And we just need to change this, that's all. Okay, now we'll go to the machine and we'll try to access it. Okay, so what we are going to do is, we'll try to access this 172.29.129.150. okay, and we will go here and we'll see. Okay, I guess we have not changed the port number, so that is the reason it is not coming. Let me put this one again, and port number 6000 on port number telnet, right? Telnet, open. Okay, and we'll try to see here. Okay, so exit, and we'll see. Now if you see here, the ports are listening on port number 80, and it is trying on this. So here also the NAT is also happening. If you take a look at, so right before it was 35k 36k, right now it is 45 kbs. So rules are used, and here also we can see it is getting connected from 189, which is nothing but this PC IP address. So basically we will be able to change, let's say we can do a port mapping for another PCs as well. So what I'm trying to say is, with only one single IP address, so for an example 129.150. so let's say I can say that if you are accessing 150 on port number 6000, you get redirected to server 1. Okay, now when you are accessing on port number 6001, you will be redirected to server 2. Same thing, 6002, you might get redirected to server 3. So with single IP address, single public IP address, we, with the help of port mapping, we can map to different servers as well. Okay, we can do in this way as well. Okay, so whatever I showed you, we can use it in two ways. First is to secure, for the security purpose. Let's say if I want to the user are accessing on port number 80, I want to change it to port number 6000 for a security reason, or maybe with different port number I wanted to use different servers, we can also do that as well. Okay, so you have to understand the scenario and you have to implement as per that. Okay, so guys, this is what I wanted to cover in this video. If you want more video on the NAT, please try to comment. If the comment goes more than 20, then I can make a very detailed researched video on NAT, particularly for Fortigate. Okay, so this is what I wanted to cover. Thank you so much for watching, and I wanted to say thank you for all your support. And yeah, if you have if you like this video, please hit on the like button. If you have got any knowledge, please do comment, as well as if you have any suggestion, you can send me an email, a message on Instagram, Facebook, or you can send me an email as well. Okay, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next. Last but not the least, don't forget to subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that you never miss a video from me. Thank you.